places that I typically sit, but that's okay because this is the only place that's quiet. Yeah, if you're hearing the sounds of the air conditioner, it's like 90 something degrees out or somewhere close to 90 and hot, so I'm leaving the car running, and sorry about fan noises if you're hearing them. A lot of things going on, especially in my area, and I'm not going to put these pictures up of these crazy people, but there were some crazy people downtown Indianapolis. They were crying. They literally were crying. They were so distraught. Distraught is the best way I can put this, because that's what they were. They were distraught. And that's just ridiculous, being what it was they were complaining about. Indiana passed a law, went through, takes effect next month, September 20th or something like that, pretty much banning all abortion in the state of Indiana. Apparently Indiana was the first state to do this since Roe versus Wade, whatever that was. I never really looked into that and didn't really care. It's just not my thing. Anybody who's watched this channel or know anything about what I believe, abortion is murder, and that's what I believe. And if anybody doesn't like that, well, tough luck. It's still the truth. It's still the truth. It can't not be the truth. Not too long ago, someone had, and I'm not even going to bother showing you these articles. You can find them pretty easily on Google. It was a car accident. A nurse was in a Mercedes. She was doing 80 to 100 miles an hour. I believe this was in Los Angeles. She blew through a light. She hit another car. 5 people died. Yet, one of those people was pregnant. So she has been charged with 6 murders. 6 manslaughter, involuntary, whatever they called it. So where was the 6th if the baby wasn't, born yet? Just saying. How is it? They can freely go and kill him whenever they want, but if somebody else does it, they get charged with murder. Why isn't it? You know what? I think we should legalize it. I think we should legalize abortion everywhere. But after you get one, you should be, convicted of murder, and then you should be taken to town square, and we should make a public example out of you. But, that's just my thoughts on it. These are all my opinions based on my own beliefs, my own views of the world. This is not, you know how YouTube is. They're probably going to ban this video, but whatever. Way to go, Indiana. That's all I got to say about way to go. It's about time somebody got something right. And I don't believe or trust in any form of government. My thoughts and my belief about the United States government is that it's a failed system and it's already collapsed. It's just a lot of people haven't realized it yet, especially the ones in D.C. They just haven't realized that this government's done. And this government isn't meant to last forever. It's impossible for this government to last forever. It's not going to happen. It never was going to happen. From the beginnings of it, it was not meant to be forever. It's impossible. Because there's too many people that, just don't get along, don't see eye to eye. And, in a republic, you have to see eye to eye on some level. And this is what this originally was. In a democracy, on the other hand, the majority, which could be, 51%, can tell the other 49% what to do. That's what a democracy is. This is why it's the worst form of government there ever was. Communism is better than democracy. It really is. Look up what democracy really is. Really study it, really learn about it, and then you will know what I said is correct. Alright, this is going to be a short video. It really is. That's really what I wanted to talk about, is Indiana and doing something right for a change. Indiana doesn't always get everything right. Obviously, nobody does. Nothing does. But that one, they did good. Now, this abortion ban, it still has exceptions to the rule. Exceptions being rape, murder, incest, rape, incest, a few other ones, chronic diseases, the potential to harm and kill the mother. If that is actually happening and it can be proved, then yeah, it could still be done. I still don't agree with it personally. I mean, I think it's God's choice, who lives, who dies. That's my opinions. This is completely a religious thing, and if you don't believe in that type of thing, I encourage you to read your book. Read this book. I encourage you to read this book, not your book. I just get this one. Read this one. You can look it up on Google. You find it pretty easily. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's just what it is. It's a good thing. But these people, whew, these people were distraught. Man, they were crying. I wasn't down there. I've just seen the videos and the pictures from local news services. I hadn't been there at all. I didn't want to go, although I've been considering going, because just for the fact that I know I could get this on video and I know I'd get a lot of views out of it. But you know, that's dangerous for me to go into these places and put myself into situations like that. My book tells me not to put myself into situations like that, so it's a good thing I don't go, because I'm armed and I have a very low tolerance for people murdering babies. Very, very low tolerance, like a 0% tolerance there. Probably in the negatives, like negative 1 billion% tolerance. Like, it pisses me off. Let's just put it that way. It pisses me off. It really does. How can anybody say that that's not a life? My body, my choice. Yeah, where were you at when they were trying to force needles in our arms with your body, your choice? You were quiet then. And why is it all these women that are down there that are all distraught, or all have green hair, shaven heads, and they're all ugly or like overly large? And you know, these are the type of people nobody wants to get pregnant anyway. Just saying. You know, this may come off very rude and like a rant, and it's probably about to turn into one, because every time I get on this topic, I start ranting, because it pisses me off. Sorry, I'm banging on things. Yeah, that's just where I'm at on that. All right, one more thing. I'm going to throw a clip up here on the end. I'm going to throw 2 clips up on the end. I read an article. I don't have it in front of me because it just popped into my head, and I'm going to share it with you. I meant to do this in my last video with the news compilation. I actually had a lot more that was going to be on the end of that video, but I just didn't have the time personally, and the video had started to run past my normal length anyway. I try to keep them under 15 minutes. Doesn't always happen, but I try. I hope you watched that video. If you haven't seen that last video, it shows you food shortages and how bad it really is. As a matter of fact, I posted today on the post section of this channel a video from another channel that I encourage you to watch. It's a beef farmer or a cow farmer. They have cows, and they were showing long lines at the place where they sell these cows. These cows are sold for slaughter. These cows are all going to be sold for slaughter. We are culling the herds. We did this back in early 2020. Beef prices for the first few months of 2020 were as low as I've seen in my lifetime. And this was because of the farm failures of 2019. You can go back farther in the channel. You can find those videos. That's the cause of it. The same thing is happening now, but it's worse. The reason being, these farmers are getting rid of all their cows, especially in the Southwest and the areas of Texas, things like that. These farmers have to, because they cannot afford to feed them through the winter. They can't afford the hay. They can't afford the diesel fuel that it costs to run, you know, equipment and food and supplies back and forth. They can't do it. They can't afford it. Hay bales. Seen another one of the videos from the same channel that I posted in the comments, not the comments, the post, the community section, I believe is what it's called. The community section of this channel. If you find that, you'll find that video. The hay bales were, you know what a bale of hay is. I'm talking about those big round ones that you move with semi-trucks. These things were $45,000, I believe is what the number was. Might have been even more than that for 3 of them. $45,000. They can't afford to feed their cows throughout the winter. So a lot of meat is going for sale. They're culling the herds. They are slaughtering these animals. They're putting them to market. You're going to see an abundance of beef over the next several months. You're going to see an abundance of other animals, meat products over the next several months. Prices are going to be pretty cheap for these. I encourage you, if you do not have a dehydrator, get one. If you don't have a freeze dryer, get one. Dehydrators are the cheapest and easiest way to go, and you can keep meat a long time by dehydrating it. You can put it in your freezer. I mean, there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen this winter. Nobody knows. But from what I've seen, I follow a lot of the space stuff from science. Not follow per se, but I pay attention to it. And what we've had over the last month or two are a lot of solar flares, or coronal mass ejections, CMEs, solar storms, if you will. And they have been directed directly at our planet. Now, I've seen the effects of these, and these are little ones. These are little. I've seen the effects of these on my GPS system. I'm a person that uses a GPS system almost every single day for delivering things. Almost every single day. I use it a lot, and I'm telling you, my GPS has been acting very weird lately, and it has to be because the satellites are being interfered with by these coronal mass ejections from the sun, sending out huge radioactive whatever it is right at us. This happened back in late 1800s, I believe it was. I forget what it's called, but it completely wiped out all telegraph systems and any early stages of electricity that we had. There's the potential for this to get worse. Very much so. There's a very big potential for this to get worse. And that being said, by wintertime, we could start seeing major power outages everywhere. We're already seeing brownouts all throughout the South, anywhere in the Southwest where we're having huge amounts of drought and heat waves that are just breaking all the records. They're already seeing brownouts through these areas. And what a brownout is when the power company shuts down a certain area to alleviate the power grid so that it doesn't overwork itself too much and completely shut down everybody. That's what a brownout is. It's an intentional shutdown of your electricity to save power or to save the power plant from, disaster. All right, we'll get off of that. All right, before I throw up that clip, and I got two clips here. The first one's going to be about pigs. Anybody who's read their book, if you've read this book, not just the last half, but the book, and you read it in context and you realize that you should not be eating pork, this next article is going to be disturbing. What is going on here are scientists are taking organs from dead pigs, reanimating them somehow, zombie pigs if you will, and they're taking the zombie pig organs and they're planning to use them for humans. So I'll leave that up on the screen for a second so that you can see that. All right, this next part here, this next part is going to be from the book. I'm going to read something. This is pretty much out of context because I'm not reading the whole chapter, but it caught my eye. Matthew 24:22. And if those days were not shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the sake of the chosen ones, those days shall be shortened. If anyone then says to you, look, here is Messiah, or there, do not believe. For the false messiahs and false prophets shall arise, and they shall show great signs and wonders, as to lead astray, if possible, every chosen one. Now, how do you become a chosen one? Read the first 5 books. It tells you everything you're supposed to do in just the first 5 books of that. And you can corroborate everything in the back of the book with the first 5 books. Jesus taught Torah throughout his life. He taught it. He did not come to destroy the Torah, but to embody it. He was the only man to ever walk earth that completed Torah perfectly. Only one. Nobody else before, nobody else after. He's the only one according to what my book says. So, that being said, pigs and people, not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to touch the carcass of a dead, unclean animal. A pig is an unclean animal. A pig is a very parasitical animal as well. They are, you can say that, yeah, they keep themselves clean, they do this, they're smart, blah, 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 blah. You still shouldn't eat them. Not to mention, it's extremely bad for your health. Extremely bad for your heart. There's reasons for that. All right. That's going to be the end of this video. I'll have more up this week whenever randomness pops into my mind and I decide to tell it to you. So, I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Have a very blessed week. Pray a lot, and prep some food, because you're going to need it. It's been James of Grim Survival. See you later. We'll just say that. See you later.